is Mia. You want to say hi, Mia? You want to say hi? You want to talk about Waymo? You want to talk about Waymo and Lyft? You want to talk about Waymo and Lyft? Waymo and Lyft are now partnering together in Nashville. This is pretty big. I want to say as a quick side note, I'm actually at my friend's place, hence the different scenery. I'm doing some dog watching. I showed you Mia in the beginning of this video. Getting into it though, this is, again, I say this in a lot of videos, and I hope I don't come off as a broken record, but this is big. And I've been saying that so much with Waymo, and I talked about Zoox as well, and all these different self-driving cars. But the biggest thing is not just the self-driving cars, the technology, the apps, the interface, more actually the business side of things. And this is an interesting one that I'm going to be honest, I did not expect. Like the crossover collab of the century kind of mentality, especially when it comes to ride sharing. And that is this. If you look at Waymo, and a lot of people don't know this actually, but when you look at Waymo, technically right now, at the time of this video, there's 3 sections of Waymo. Technically 2, but I'm going to say 3 if I look at it from like a big picture perspective. 1, Waymo has the app itself. There's an app called Waymo that you can download on your phone. And if you're in certain areas like Los Angeles, San Francisco, Phoenix, etc., you can download the app and then order a vehicle, like a rideshare, like you're ordering an Uber or Lyft. That's the first part of Waymo. The second part is also the vehicles, which then breaks me into a whole other section, but we have the app, Waymo itself, and then the vehicles. The vehicles, right now at the time of this video, are Jaguar I-Paces. The best way I can word it, like I've explained in a few videos, is they're basically remixed. Picture a car, but they remix it, if I'd word it like that, or transform it to be a self-driving vehicle. So right now, they are unveiling soon, I know, a new Waymo vehicle. Maybe, I'm guessing maybe next year, we'll see what happens. But right now, they're using the Jaguar I-Pace. They transform the vehicle into a self-driving car. So Waymo itself, when you look at Waymo from a big picture perspective, is technically 2 things. It's the app itself, but then also the vehicle itself. And of course, there's some crossovers, of course, but also some differences. And like I just said, there's technically 3 parts to Waymo now. Why am I saying just 2? And that is this. You have the app in Los Angeles right now where I can order a Waymo and get a Waymo vehicle, get to my destination, go where I need to go. But then now, in Austin, in case you didn't know, Waymo, the vehicle, is partnering with Uber. So if you order an Uber, like so you pull up the Uber app, you order an Uber normally, like you're ordering just, again, any other Uber, nothing too crazy, you might get a Waymo ride. This has been a big talk, especially in Austin. I've seen reports, and I mentioned this in some videos, where people will literally order an Uber, and it's a luck of the draw. It's a roll of the dice. You don't really pick it. So you order an Uber, and you get a human driver. You're like, no. And they keep canceling. There's one report I heard of someone canceling like, I don't know, 20, 30, 40, 50 times until they finally got a Waymo because they really wanted to take a Waymo. They really want to take that Waymo because they're like, hey, I want to try this new thing out. It seems cool. It's innovative. It's the future's here, so to speak. So the second thing Waymo's really doing now is an Uber integration, a partnership with Uber. And I want to say this too. It's very interesting because the way I look at it is, you have human drivers versus AI. Or let me even take a step back. With human drivers, even more taking a step back, you have Uber and Lyft versus taxis. Uber and Lyft won. Let's be honest. Like, taxis still exist, but not as much. Then going deeper to ride sharing, you have Uber versus Lyft. Always been the biggest battle. Always been the biggest battle. And now you have, though, Uber and Lyft are human drivers versus AI. And I just did a video about Zoox, which is another self-driving company similar to Waymo. Now you even have AI versus AI. You have Waymo versus Zoox. But, making more relevant on this video, you have Uber and Lyft versus Waymo. And it's interesting that they're both competitors, Uber and Lyft versus Waymo, but also Uber and Waymo are kind of working together. It's kind of like that mentality of if you can't beat them, join them. And now we're adding Lyft. Lyft is that third section I'm talking about. That when I look at Waymo, I look at it as 2 things at first. The app and then the vehicle. And then when it comes to the vehicle, I actually look at it as now 2 sections. We have the app, then we have the vehicle with Uber partnership, then we have the app, and then the vehicle with Lyft partnership. And that is why I'm very intrigued by this. This is something that I did not expect. Uber partnering with Waymo makes some sense to me. Uber, of course, is phenomenally, exponentially bigger than Waymo when it comes to the app. People don't have to create another account. I mean, let's be honest. Every single time you download a new app, you have to create an account, make a password with all special characters. You have to connect your credit card. It's all these steps. So Uber said, and Waymo said, you know what? Waymo's like, hey, we got the technology, we got the cars. Uber said, hey, we have the clientele, we have the database of people using Uber. Let's work together. And I thought that was not necessarily an exclusive contract, but I figured that, okay, in the future, it's going to be Waymo partnering with Uber if they don't want to use their own app in an area. Like Austin is a good example of this. Now, though, Waymo's going with Lyft. It almost kind of seems like in a kind of an interesting way if I'd word it like this. Waymo is a bit of a free agent where they're like, hey, we have the technology, we have the vehicles, we have the software, and the hardware. We're the best. Let's be honest. Like, Tesla can't really touch Waymo, especially when you look at self-driving cars. Like, there's a difference between, and I want to make this clear on this video especially, there's a huge difference between a self-driving vehicle and a self-driving rideshare. There are logistics you have to think about when it comes to a rideshare, like getting in the car pulling over, making sure that someone doesn't steal your Waymo, making sure that if something happens inside of the vehicle, how do you deal with internal and also external factors? How do you promote safety? Like, how do you make sure that when they get dropped off that something doesn't happen, right? A self-driving car and a self-driving rideshare, although there's a Venn diagram where there's a lot of similarities, are still two different things. Waymo is by far the best. And what's interesting to me about this, though, is that Waymo is now partnering with Lyft. And I have to stress this point. I know I've been saying this a lot in videos. Like, I feel like this channel, which is kind of interesting, again, started as an Uber and Lyft channel, and I would just talk about ways to make money as a driver. I would talk about news things. I talk about techniques. Like, I even did videos about, like, hacks in the Uber app or Lyft app, hacks in the Uber driver app and the Lyft driver app. So I did technique-based videos, money-making videos, news, tutorials, blah, blah, blah. And I feel like now I kind of have to follow where things are going, where it's like now most of my news stories are about self-driving cars. It's dystopian, utopian, two different perspectives. Some people love Waymos, some people hate them, and I feel very conflicted as well because I have taken a lot of Waymos. I just posted a couple of videos of like virtually you taking a Waymo, like a POV first-person shot of what it's like to be in one. And what's tough is, on one end, I'm like, I don't want to be promoting Waymo, because it's like I used to be an Uber driver and a Lyft driver. In addition to, like, humans versus robots is becoming a reality in every profession. Humans versus AI taking over your job, ChatGPT. Like, these are things that are becoming actual issues. On the other end, though, there's no denying it that there's a lot of benefits to Waymo. And I've said before that with all the crazy rides that are happening now, there's about over 1 million Waymo rides happening every month. It's undeniable, based off the statistics, that it's safer now to take a Waymo. Very conflicting, but this is the thing. And I say this because there's a lot of times when I do videos like this, like a news video, that I think at first, I think a lot of people are like, Mark, it's not that big of a deal. So what, Waymo partnered with Uber in Austin? So what, Waymo's partnering with Lyft in Nashville? Why do I care? You should, because Waymo is now spreading substantially faster than I ever expected it to be. And the thing is this is like any kind of franchise, if I'd use that word, right, from a business perspective. Once you figure out how to go into a different market, you get better at it, right? You understand more, okay, here's how to build a new infrastructure in a new city. And the more that you do it, the better that you get. So at first, I'm making numbers up here, so, don't take this to heart, but next month, right, there might be 2 new cities. But then the month after that might be 3 new cities. The month after that might be 4 new cities. So Waymo is going to not only expand and continue to expand, but the rate of expansion is going to be faster and faster, given the fact that Waymo is getting better and better. And like I said, because Waymo technically has 2 different things to its IP, if I'd word it like that, the app and the technology, software and hardware, if I word it like that. Well, I guess software and hardware both on the car, but the app itself, Waymo has now a huge leg up where they say, okay, this one city, we think we can just fully take over on our own. We got the app, we got the car. We'll do it on our own. But let's say there's a city that for whatever reason, they're like, you know what, this one might be a bit tricky. Austin, maybe a bit tricky. Nashville, maybe a bit tricky. Well, we have the cars. Let's just send a fleet out. We'll partner with Uber. We're going to send a fleet out to Nashville. We're going to partner with Lyft. That's a huge thing because, like I said, yes, I'd say this. If you're a human driver in Austin or Nashville, do you have to worry as much about Waymo now? No. Because people still have to order that vehicle, but it should be your concern. One, it's very possible that you might get cancellations because people want to get that Waymo. But two, who knows when the next thing's going to happen where people now can directly and only order Waymo if they want to. And there have been reports, like I mentioned too, where even though statistically speaking, right now, Waymos are still more expensive than Ubers and Lyfts, unfortunately, they found through meta-analysis that people are still willing to spend more money once they take a Waymo. It's almost like once that barrier is broken, once someone takes a Waymo, they never look back and they continue taking Waymos, even if they're more expensive. If you're a driver, like I said before, LA, San Francisco, Phoenix, etc., Waymo is a massive concern for you. And like I mentioned in a lot of videos, one of the biggest issues with being an Uber driver and a Lyft driver is there being too many cooks in the kitchen, too many drivers on the road. This is a big issue that really started, I believe, in the end of 2023, really started to become apparent in 2024 or last year, in my opinion. And it was already tough to get a ride for a lot of drivers. But now with all these Waymos being on the road, it's getting even harder and harder. And again, they're hitting big cities. Again, like I said, to quickly name the cities that not only they're going to be in, but they're also doing testing. We have Los Angeles, San Francisco, Phoenix, and Atlanta that they're in right now. In Austin and soon to be Nashville when it comes to the partnerships, but also they're doing Miami, they're also doing Washington, D.C., they're also doing Philadelphia, and they're also doing testing in New York City, and then Denver's also now coming up too. They're hitting all the major cities. I think, is Chicago the only one that's left? Maybe, I don't know, in terms of like major cities in the United States. It's getting everywhere. Waymo's continuing to expand at rapid rates, and because now they have these partnerships, it's going to expand even more so. Where, like I said, they can either be like, hey, we'll do it all ourselves. We have the app, we have the car, we'll do it ourselves. But B, they now have two different options. They can either partner with Uber, which is what they've done, or now they can partner with Lyft, meaning Waymo has now way more opportunities to expand. And again, I'm not trying to hate on Waymo here. I want to make this very clear in a video like this. I'm not hating on Waymo as more of just explaining the reality of the situation and that you need to be heavily aware of it.